Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to swatch and review the Detail Cosmetics Velvet Flush and Ever Bilena's Bloom Blush collection. Actually, you guys helped me pick these shades on my Instagram poll. I asked for help because I was very indecisive in picking what shades I'll be getting. And so yeah, thank you for those who voted on that poll. So I based the shades that we picked on my skin tone. So from Detail Cosmetics, the Velvet Flush collection, I got the shade Lucas. And also I got the shade Bow. And from Ever Bilena's Bloom Blush collection, I got the shade Fig. And I also got the shade, Dahlia. And so yeah, so I got 4 blushes and that's what I'm going to swatch and review for you guys for today. And so yeah, if you want to see that, then just keep on watching. For this video, I'm going to show you the swatch first, and then we're going to head on to the review after the swatch video. And so the swatch video is coming in 3, 2, 1. So first, we're going to talk about the Velvet Flush Multi-Use Mousse Lids, Eyes, and Lips. From the packaging itself, the packaging is really nice. I think they did a really good job. The packaging is a plastic compact. They were able to print the name of the product on the packaging itself. Like, it's just not a sticker component. That makes it feel like it's well made. It has a good quality to it. And the whole design of this reminds me of a novelty items that's like vintage, that came from the 90s or whatever, just like those things that you find in vintage stores. And so yeah, I really enjoy the packaging. I feel like the whole experience of this is that when you go to your vanity and you see this, get the feeling of like, oh, that's a cool product, or like, oh, that's a cool packaging. And also it has a mirror in it, and the mirror is a really nice, well-made mirror. It's not distorting at all. It's very clear and it's pretty accurate from this to this. Yeah, okay, so that's all I can say about the packaging. Now let's move on to the formulation of the product. I really like the formula of these Velvet Flush Mousse because they are kind of like a putty formula where when you touch it, it feels very soft. For me, it feels very much like clay. The pigment is pretty intense on these products because they leave a stain. Like, look at my finger. This is Bow and this is Lucas. When you blend this out on your face, it feels very dry, but not in a bad way. It just feels like it wouldn't leave any kind of dewiness on the face. The finish of this is definitely very matte, but it's not like a powdery matte on the cheeks. It looks very natural, and yeah, so when you touch it, you wouldn't feel any kind of moisturizing formula or slippiness to it. The best way I could describe this is kind of like a blendable clay. So it's very soft and smooth to the touch. The formula can be easily moved across the face. Like, it doesn't patch up on one area and then you wouldn't be able to like blend it out towards the back of your face or anything like that. It's very blendable and you can spread it easily across your face. I also highly suggest that you use a brush instead of your fingertips. As you guys know, I use my fingertips a lot for my makeup application, but this one, I kind of had a little bit of hard time blending it and making it look even when I was using my fingertips, because again, this one is very pigmented. I think with the brush, like I'll show you, you'll get a more even application. Definitely suggest that you use a brush. So yeah, it'll just be an easier blending experience for you and it wouldn't look patchy and it would just look more seamless in my opinion. They are saying that this can be used for the lids, for the cheeks, and for the lips. Okay, so for the lips, I actually don't like this on my lips because I find that this one is very drying. I think it's because the formula kind of like just a straight up pigment with some kind of silicone. I feel like there's no moisturizing formula in this one. The way it works on the lips is a little bit drying. I tried to wear a shade Bow on my lips the whole morning, and after like 30 minutes I find that my lips were drier and I feel like the product was sucking up all the moisture out of my lips. And so yeah, I actually used a lip balm, like specifically this one, and I just put it on top to kind of like add moisture. The Vaseline Lip Therapy, this one doesn't have any shine. I highly recommend that you do lip scrub and any kind of lip moisturizing treatment or like a lip balm. When I used this yesterday, my lips weren't that dry, but it had a little bit of dryness, and so when I applied Bow on my lips, all of the pigment clung to my dead skin, and so it didn't look cute. I had to like remove it again. If your lips are very dry, I don't think that you would like how it looks when you put it on your lips. For me, I don't like to use this on my lips, although the shade Bow, I really like this shade, and I think for the shade itself, I'd be using this on my lips. I'll just have to put this on top of this one. The shade Lucas leaves a nicer stain on the lips than Bow. Lucas leaves like a peachy stain that is very flattering for anyone, I think. But the Bow one leaves a kind of like a hot pink stain, and so yes, just letting you know. Yeah, I really like the formula of the Velvet Mousse. I think that they work the best on the skin and not on the lip. Now let's talk about the shade. So the shade Bow, it's a red-brown kind of shade, and it's not too red. It's more of a muted red-brown. It gives depth to the skin and it picks up a lot of red on the skin, and so if you have morena skin, this will definitely make your skin tone pop more. And this one is almost like a maroon kind of shade, and so if you're a fan of that muted red that has a depth of brown to it, I think you would like this shade. Like, this is the shade that I'm wearing on my lips right now. So for the shade Lucas, I think Lucas is a really nice everyday shade, and this shade is perfect for those people who like their makeup to be a little bit more natural and undetected. Actually, this is a really good shade on the lid as well. It blends nicely on the lid, and it's like a peachy brown. There's more brown than peach to it, and so yeah, I really like that kind of brown nude shade. This is perfect for those who also like to have a more nude monochromatic look. I think that is so pretty. I'm actually really happy of this purchase because I feel like I got the perfect shade for my skin tone. And so if you're morena, maybe you'd want to check this out. You guys know that I don't use foundation and I just put products on my bare skin, and I really like that these two blended on my skin really nicely. It feels like it's one with my skin, and that is usually the look that I'm going for. I feel like I got my money's worth on these two, and so yeah. Okay, now let's move on to Bilena's Bloom Blush collection, and so I'm going to insert the clip where I swatch these two shades, and you are going to see that in 3, 2, 1. Well, that's not nice. This one just broke. That's sad. But yeah, I guess the packaging isn't the most secured because mine literally just broke just now. That kind of makes me sad, but it's fine. So let's talk about the Bilena Bloom Blush collection, specifically in the shades Fig and Dahlia. I wasn't going to talk about the sturdiness of the packaging, but since what happened just happened, it's like very flimsy. It's not like well made because the packaging literally just broke. Kind of sucks, and the packaging is pretty like thin. It's made out of plastic, but it kind of makes sense because these blushes are much cheaper than the Velvet Flush, and so I cannot demand more for the packaging because for 175 I think we get what we get. We can make it work, you know? Because at the end of the day, the product is the most important thing for makeup. I actually think it looks pretty cute. Like, they're pretty small. The color of the packaging is what you'll see inside, like the product, the blush itself, and I think that is a good touch to it. It adds a little bit of quality. Kind of feels like they thought about it a little bit. The mirror is actually pretty accurate. It's also not distorted, and so I like it. They have small mirror, but for me, I was using this to like look at my blush, as you saw in my swatch video, and it worked. Like, my blush looked nice naman, right? The formula of this is actually pretty impressive for the price. When you touch it, it feels very soft and smooth. It doesn't feel buttery. It doesn't feel creamy. It just feels like a very finely milled powder, and that is how I like my blush. It's that like MAC formula that I'm very familiar with. So I really like that they chose that kind of formula for their blush on, because usually those kinds of formulas they tend to work really well on bare face. So as you saw in the swatch video, the way that these blush applied on my skin was super seamless. Like you saw how it was very easy for me to put it on my bare skin, and it was definitely buildable. And what I like most about these products is how soft they are. I really like the shade range that they picked for this collection, and I'm also really pleased with what I got. Also, I find that because I was wearing this yesterday, I find that as the day went by, my blush on looked more natural. And I think it's because the more that my oil seeps through the blush, I think it kind of melts within my skin and it just provides me a natural flush. And that's usually how I like my blush. I know that I usually go for cream blushes, but sometimes I also like powder blush, especially if I really like the shades, and that is what I feel about these two. I feel like I would really want to use them because the shades are really good, and it's so comforting to know that the formula is also really good, that I don't have to worry about like looking powdery or patchy. Like even if freshly applied, it doesn't look powdery at all. I mean, you can always fix the powderiness of the product with a setting spray, but I don't usually use setting sprays unless I'm going for a certain kind of look. But this one, when I applied it freshly, it just looks natural right away, and so that is a big plus for me. Let us talk about the shades of these blushes. So the first one is the shade Fig. That's not Fig. So the first one is Fig, and I really like the shade Fig because even if I'm morena, I find that the more neutral mauve kind of shade works well for my skin tone. Like even if it's more on the cooler side of the shade range, just like a mauve pink really makes, like, I think any skin tone pop. That's what I like about this particular shade, the shade Fig. It's that pink mauve, like it's more neutral, and so it doesn't look too bright on me. It just looks right. I remember when I was like a makeup artist, I would use like a neutral mauve pink on almost all of on like fresh look. Those kinds of pinks really give off that like fresh look to the face without it looking too warm or too pink. So I really like that I got the shade Fig. And let's move on to the shade Dahlia. So Dahlia is definitely a warm peach, a similar undertone as Lucas. I think they're pretty similar. Lucas has just more depth, a more browner depth to it than this one. This one is just a soft flush of peach and brown. This kind of shade is very popular these days, and I think it's because it offers a more natural look. Of course, when you compare this kind of shade to a pink one, this one will definitely look more natural because it's closer to our actual skin tone. So this shade specifically is great for those who are looking for a really natural blush but will still give you that warm or peachiness to your skin. And this will also look really good on the eyes because I've tried this yesterday on my eyes and it worked really well. So yeah, it will also be a great eyeshadow as well. So yeah, I think all in all, Ever Bilena really impressed me with their blush collection, and I think that, and I'm just like really happy for our beauty local industry because I feel like everyone is stepping up, everyone is now following the trends, and that's just really fun. I feel like we will see in the following years to come, we will see more product releases that are like more up to date and more modern. I feel like we have products that are also up to par to those international brands, and that really makes me happy. And so yeah, that is it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for waiting for this review. I know that you guys have been waiting for this. It's just that I had some technical difficulties, mental difficulties, and so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye!